you had the got 3000.
No, this is actually a serious point, right? This is a very serious point because the Western world has collapsed in real time and it's a failed society. And one of the reasons it's a failed society is because of the over-sexualization, especially of females as a whole. If a woman comes up to me and goes, I'll be the best sex you ever had, I am fucking revolted. I don't want the best sex I've ever had. I want you to be pure and a virgin. You should know what sex is. Cook my fucking dinner. Shut up. Don't come and talk to me about fucking sucking dick. It's vile. It's disgusting. I don't want to hear that shit.
Can I say something?
I don't want to hear that shit. What I want is a woman who makes me look good. No woman who's running around talking about sucking dick can make me look good. So I lose interest completely and utterly. And that's
I agree. Yup. It's true. And it's really funny because they have this thing called the Madonna garden tool fallacy, right? Where it's like girls have this problem where they don't understand that, like, a man wants Madonna, like, not the singer, I mean, the girl who's pure, who sleeps with him like a garden tool but doesn't show it to the world. So the adage, right, the expression is freak in the sheets but lady in the streets. That's exactly right. And I don't mean a pretend lady, right, who's had 40 chads and is hiding it. That's not what I'm talking about.
It's the truth. So what she's saying is completely correct. These are old school things, but it's not about the act. Yes, you can order food, of course. It's about the status that comes with it. That's what it's about.
Sagittarius, spoken like a true one. That is true.
My man's a
Sagittarius. Listen, well,
my man's a Sagittarius.
So basically, it's a straight shooting sort of conversation. But I think that sometimes we get distracted and we talk about the bicker of between men and women. I think that the problem that men and women have is the consequences of the bad decisions that the 1% of powerful men make on our behalf, because our problems are on a societal level less than between woman and man. That is why there's a lot of competition between men, this chase for status that they will never get.
That's not true. It's not true that it's the top 1%'s fault. No. That's I'm not even going to say the word on this podcast, but it starts with a C, and it was the main excuse me. Wow, and in doing that I wrecked my model too. Lovely. One sec. The main dogma of the USSR. No. That's not why. Men have been competing for generations. Sorry, not for generations. Men have been competing with each other since the beginning. Because competition is how it is. Women have been hypergamous since the beginning and chose the winners. So no, it's not because of the top 1%. Well, kind of is. It's because women have chosen the 1% for generations, right? And had their children. But anyway, hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all the notifications. If you'd like to support me, you can go to my Patreon and subscribe. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Again, it's patreon.com/theheliosblog. You can also drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, or Tom M. Shout outs to them. Link is in the description. Let's continue.
Men, why is that the fault of the 1% of men?
Because they're the ones that drive the machine that runs this. The West.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, but then think about the men that are at the top now, the corruption and everything that's going on. And this is why it feels very good to sit next to somebody like you and just say, do you know what? I appreciate that you say things that are really true. You expose a very toxic truth and a very true truth as well that is out there. But the reality is, on the trenches, when you go to the grassroots, people don't feel the way that you feel. It's not as simple as what you say.
That's not true. People do feel this way. They just don't say it out loud because they're afraid of getting cancelled. And in fact, hilariously, Andrew himself got cancelled and is now even in jail.
They are victims of this system. So my job here is really not to try and make it about men and women, is to make you understand that actually we need to start changing the narrative.
You don't want to make it about men and women because
they're both messed up on either side.
Because then women look bad.
No, because it's about everybody together. Women have their trauma.
Yeah, why can't we just get together and feel all right? Why can't we just get together and sing Kumbaya? you know, like so ridiculous, right? Like obviously this is wrong. And that doesn't solve anything. She's just saying, let's just sweep it under the rug. Let's just not talk about it. Let's not deal with anything. Blame it on the 1% of men and move on with our lives and then post it on TikTok later. Like, no, that will not work.
Men have their traumas. I'm not here to fight against men and women. That's small.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But the idea that this 1% of men have created this terrible society. Yeah, I talk about that. I talk about the Matrix. I talk about these things. But it's always been this way. It's always been a small elite group of men who are in charge of the world. And unfortunately now we're fighting battles in different ways. The days of old, a man proved his worth by going to war. Basically, every man at any point in his life was going to end up going to war, and he came back victorious. He came back with honor. He got himself a wife. That's how it worked, right? Now men don't have to go to war as much, depending on where you live in the world, and it's slightly different. And we fight our wars in other ways. And one of the true expressions of testosterone and trying to really express your ability and your combative ability now in the modern world is power and influence. So in the olden days, you go to war, you come back with a ribbon. Nowadays, you got X amount of followers, you can move the world with money. I can bend reality with money. Please understand, if I walk into Jimmy Choo, they lock the door. No brokies allowed in. Tate's here. And I buy whatever the fuck I want. There's lines outside because I'm there. Mm-hmm. I bend the world with money. That's how the wars are now won. So you're talking about high status males, and it's always been that way. Now you have a whole contingent of men who aren't dead. Okay, they didn't die in a ditch, but they're lonely as fuck jerking off. And that's the reality of it. And women...
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Like, before, these men who are uncompetitive, they simply died. They were literally, like, unalived because they weren't competitive. They didn't put in the work that they needed to put in to survive. Nowadays, these men that don't put in the work, they are their own group of men, and they've been kept alive to be useful idiots for society. But now, they see that there's no benefit to this, because they don't get married, they get no children out of it, they get nothing. Because again, man's evolutionary prerogative, or not prerogative, his biological drive is to have children, right? So if a man knows beyond the shadow of a doubt he can't have children, what's the point of then contributing to society? And so we get the MGTOW movement. We get men walking away saying, you know what? I'm just going to produce exactly as much as I need to support myself and no more, which is very little. And women, you can go kick rocks. That's the MGTOW movement. And again, ancient people, 2,000 years ago or more, 3,000 years ago, they saw how destructive this trend was, and they invented something to deal with this, which was enforced monogamy through marriage and religion. So they used religion in order to brainwash the masses. Actually, if you think about it, the real person that was the primary target of religion was actually women. They used religion to get women to follow the herd in a positive way, because women are herd creatures. They do what is in vogue. They do what is in fashion. If it's in fashion to have a husband and to be loyal and to be kind and generous and stay with him, then they'll do it, even if they don't like it, because that's what you do, because that's what the group is doing. And in doing so, those old cultures activated the working potential of the loser man, which to women is the bottom 95%. So the bottom 95% of men, who are the losers, they were then activated because they know that they'll get a wife. They know that they'll get children, and they work for that, and by extension, they work for society. And so we get the great works of art, we get the great buildings, we get the great economies, we get the great infrastructures of old. Nowadays, with our collapsing society, you can see there's a recession because effectively we have the MGTOW movement, right, with men walking away and refusing to provide how they used to because they're not getting anything for it, so why would they? And so the economy has to be propped up by effectively borrowing money or printing more money. And so you get inflation. And when you get inflation, nobody can afford anything anymore. And there you go. Here we are. It's all connected.
don't give a fuck about them, and why should you? I'm not sitting here actually shitting on women in any way. I think women have a biological instinct to a degree to try and find the best mate they can because it gives them the highest chance of survival in the harsh realities of the world. And if they look at a man who's not capable, they just don't feel an attraction to him. And that's the bottom line of it. And that's why I'm largely misunderstood. I don't blame women for a lot of the problems. Women are guilty of certain things, but I have a massive amount of blame to place on men because there's so many men who are genuinely incompetent. If I was a chick, I wouldn't fuck these losers either. Like, they're losers. So,
okay, it's actually not true, right? Like, women's standards have gone up and up and up and up. So even men that are like, you know, hard-working engineers, they can't get laid because they're not 6 feet, or they can't get laid because they don't have a 6-inch, you know what, or they can't get laid because they don't have a six-pack, in addition to their good salary, their work ethic, etc. But before, you know, John the engineer would get laid and get married because that's what you did. Yes, you want Chad, but sleeping with him is illegal because cheating is illegal, divorce is illegal. If you have children with another man or you cheat on your husband, the divorce happens and you lose the children and you get on the street and you never have a chance at another relationship again. That was the old way, which kept women like actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is, you know, being polite, respectful, and actually producing the next generation. Like, what's happening now, they say that the prediction by 2030, so in 7 years, 45% of women will be single and childless of all ages. Do you realize, guys, how insane that is? That means the population of the West is going to be in steep decline, sharp decline. So what does that mean? Well, if the population is going to be in sharp decline, they have to bring people from other cultures, right? They have to bring people from other cultures in. But what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen is, by natural selection, the people that believe these cancerous ideologies of only the top 5% of men are good enough and everyone else is a brokey, a loser, an idiot, well, that culture is going to die by natural selection. Because nobody is alive to reproduce that culture. Because there literally won't be enough children to have that culture. Anyway, let's continue.
It's hard out.
Balance. I love it.
Do you know what I don't understand? Why people are always going for the 1%? All the women want to rush for the 1%. Why don't you just find a regular 9-to-5 person that's going to look after you? You can be his queen. Why can't you just do that? Why is everybody really rushing?
I agree.
I've got a man. We don't go on social media. If it weren't for Pearl, I want nothing about social media. 9 to 5. I've got our own property. 32 years. Happy as Larry. What is the problem? It's not old-fashioned. It works.
No, Auntie. Let me
does
clarify.
work.
When I meant 1% is not the 1% of attraction. I mean the actual people that are in charge of the things that run the world the way that
What
it
I'm
does.
trying to say is that it's always been an umbrella we've lived under.
But the
and men have
difference is,
functioned underneath it. So why is it going to affect me?
I'll explain why. Because as Sir Mr. Andrew King Tate said,
Like that.
I want to know
as he said,
I want to know what
thank
she's after.
I'll have this on after
I
this
want to know what she's
point.
after. She's going to go home and try that now.
It's the
put it in
Wait,
Clementine.
it is. I've been drinking lime juice as well. So, as he very rightly said, society has now evolved. Before men went to war, now men don't go to war. So there's a lot of sense of no purpose that they need to find. And then on the women's side is that the same way that a society evolved, it made men feel less purpose. They have now had to take on bigger purposes. They have to go to work like they didn't have to do before. They have to take care of the family and work and do all of these things and now deal with the fact that men are feeling a little bit like out of, you know.
What's a load of rubbish? That ain't what I'm saying.
No.
You get a 9-to-5 person, right? What is wrong with you going out there, find a regular 9-to-5 person? Right? You can function underneath that because I'm always saying the women say, oh, we ain't got enough money. We ain't got enough money. Work with what the man's got.
You're right.
Work with what the man's got. You can make a man your alpha. Everybody wants to go and find these top earning money. Find a 9-to-5, work regular, save your money, learn to cook and not have takeouts, and then save your money as they did before.
Then you should direct this to the men that feel upset because they're not like Andrew
There's
Tate.
always direct something.
I don't understand. Like, what the girl is saying is men are upset because they're not like Andrew and they're not getting married because of that. That's not what's happening. What's happening is engineers, accountants, pharmacists, teachers, etc. Jobs that require university degrees and have good salaries. These girls look at that job and say, you're not a multi-millionaire at 35, I'm not interested. You're not making $500,000 a year, I'm not interested. You're not 6'5" and a basketball player in the NBA, I'm not interested. That's what's happening. And these are the top 0.3, 0.1% of men. So these girls are going after those guys, and a regular guy is nothing to them. He's inhuman garbage. Even though these girls have no idea that those jobs, those men are like the exception to the rule. The rule is most men work 9 to 5. Most men don't make crazy, ridiculous, insane salaries. Most men can't be jet setters traveling around the world. And these girls, they have learned that they would rather just sleep with the jet-setting guy once in their life and then be alone with cats and boxed wine than ever settle down. And that's the destructive part of our society. Before, there were laws and a culture was in place to prevent this. Imagine if in ancient Egypt, every single girl in ancient Egypt wanted to sleep with the pharaoh, and if you weren't the pharaoh, then she's not interested in you. You think the pharaoh would have any manpower, any labor, anybody to work on all the great cultural monuments that they built? Of course not. So they introduced, religion, and they introduced laws, and they introduced customs that made it so that these girls didn't do that, because that's their biological inclination.
To the man.
No,
Why?
but she's completely right. I'll tell you this. There's not a girl on this panel or on the planet today who couldn't walk outside and find a man who's going to be nice to her, loyal to her, and make her his queen. Women don't want that. So they'll sit there and go, no, I want Chris Brown. And then they'll go try to get Chris Brown. Then Chris Brown will cheat. And they'll be like, I can't believe he cheated. I am devastated. Well, what the fuck do you think is going to happen? If I go to the car garage, right, you have to make a decision what you truly want in your life. If you truly want to just find a man who's going to look after you and take care of you, you're going to be his queen, he's going to be loyal, you can find that all day, but you're going to have to settle to a degree where a lot of women perhaps are not prepared to do that. You see how women act. They'd rather chase a fraction of a real G's time than have 100% of the time of a fucking dude who they don't respect at that level. And it's kind of like going to a car dealership. You walk in there, if you want reliability, you can get a Nissan. But if you want to get a Ferrari, it comes with headaches. It's going to come with problems. So when girls say to me, "Oh, you know what, Andrew, you should be loyal to that," men like me don't have to be, and you know that. So why the fuck are you here trying to tell me what to do? Because you know I don't have to be loyal, and all the girls I'm fucking don't have to be loyal. So why are you sitting there pretending you expected me to be loyal when everyone knew from ground up day one it was never going to ever fucking happen? And you're still here.
I think
you're still texting.
They're going to be the one that changes you.
Well, no, yeah, of course they are.
That's the biggest mistake that girls make.
So whose fault is this? This is the female decision. They sit there and decide, no, I want this. Cool, then you're going to have to accept he ain't going to be loyal to you. He's barely going to reply to you. That's the game.
They like being cheated. I swear to God, this show has made me believe. I think women like to be cheated on.
I don't.
I swear to God, no, because all y'all ever talk about is your exes that cheated on you. That's all y'all ever talk about, and it's like
only talks about that.
The regular women that are on here.
The women that come on the show.
Oh, good thing I'm irregular and extraordinaire.
But do you not think it's because we're not holding men accountable? So when a man, because he's a top G, cheats on a woman, it's like, well, what do you expect? When you should actually turn around to him and say,
accountable for what? Accountable for
okay.
accountable.
Yeah, so these girls want their cake and to eat it too. They want to get a top 0.5% man and then also have him be monogamous. This is just delusional, right? Like, obviously a man who's top 0.5%, he's going to sleep around. There's nothing you can do. Like, there's nothing you can do. And if you're not willing to accept that he's going to sleep around, then too bad.
For its natural evolutionary biology.
Is cheating morally correct?
Yes.
Depends.
Yes.
How can you say that? Are you
you're
joking?
okay with your woman cheating on you then?
Absolutely not. That's her.
No, because
it's a wrap when she cheats on you, but you can cheat on her.
There has not been In the history of humanity, across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female, ever.
True. Absolutely true. And that's because promiscuity for women is easy, for men is hard. That's why.
Ever. You name the biggest conquerors that you can possibly name from history. Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, all of them. They all had 100 wives, bunch of children, big G, conquered the world. Normal. That is normal evolutionary biology. That's how men are designed to be. There's never been a single female who's been celebrated for her promiscuity ever in history. It's always been frowned upon and disgusting. So yes, we are completely and utterly different. Yes, it's different if a woman cheats on a man. And if a man is at a complete top level of his life and ticks every single box, and if he decides to be loyal, which some do, and I can be loyal, and I have been loyal, but there's also times in my life where I think, fuck it, I don't want to be, and get a new girlfriend every single day of the week. I can do that, and I can decide to do that. If a woman decides to do the same, purely because her value is high enough to attract so many males, because she's beautiful, for example, it is completely different. And I'm going to explain to you why it's completely different, so buckle up.
Yeah, okay, I'll also explain why it's different before Andrew does. It's because of this. To become an attractive man is extremely hard. To be physically fit, physically dominant, tall, strong, confident, charismatic, all of that, and multi-gifted, multi-talented, it's a very hard thing to do. You can't just walk out on the street and be that. It requires usually around 20 years of effort, if not more.
Different. It's different. It's different. Well, I'll tell you why. It is impossible for a female to be promiscuous on a long enough period of time without devaluing herself, because she is fucking people she shouldn't be fucking. There's no way she is sleeping with endless men, and all of them are either high-value men or treating her the way she should be treated. If you find a woman who slept with 50, 100 dudes, she's either fucking dudes which aren't at her level or haven't worked hard enough to try and get the pussy. She was just too drunk to realize he's a loser, plays video games. Or she's fucking a top G who barely texts her back. So either way, she's fucking dudes she shouldn't be fucking, or a guy who's at the level who doesn't give her the right amount of attention. For a woman to find a guy who's truly on a level, who truly treats her the way she should be treated, that's once every couple years, if that. You ain't just gonna go out there fucking a new dude every week and say, yeah, he's worth pussy. Yeah, he treats me good enough to get my pussy. Da da da. And you know what's funny about the universe? It's actually beautiful about the universe because it's equal and opposite forces. When you devalue yourself, it's kind of like men can smell it on you. They can just look at a bitch and go, oh.
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok.
Yup. Okay. So that's... it's not wrong. Okay. Let's go on... relationship advice. So this was posted 12 hours ago. The girl is 19 and the guy is 20. The girl I like did the most unexpected thing, so I'll try and keep it down to the point. There's this girl that I really like. I've known her for around 6 months and we've become really close. And last night I finally plucked up the courage from deep within to make a move. It paid off and we shared our first kiss together. It was deep and meaningful and revealed that she liked me the same way. This took place after some fun pre-drinks and on the way to the club. We get to the club and we're dancing together, kissing and having a good time. I thought this could have been the start of something good. As of this point, I haven't seen any red flags or icks. He's using girl words, but anyway. However, all of a sudden, some random guy put her arm under his arm and in all of 30 seconds they were kissing. And no, they didn't know each other from before. I'm crushed. I left straight away and walked home on my own. It's currently the night after this happened and I have 15 missed calls and a message on Snap that says, I'm the worst, I'm sorry, I'm genuinely sorry. I haven't opened the messages because I don't know how to respond to this. My heart is just sad. I just don't know whether to continue or leave it. Any advice or experience that I can draw will be appreciated. Side note, I've never been in a relationship before, so I guess this is the closest I felt to heartbreak. Although I'm not, I've been with girls before, I just thought she was special. Her flatmates that she lives with are some of my best friends, so my actions moving forward must take them into account too. Forgot to mention all my friends that I was there with last night said I didn't step a foot out of line or do anything wrong, even a flatmates who are our best friends. So what is this an example of? This is an example of sniper mentality. The guy spends so much time, so much effort to get one kiss. Goes to the club, 30 seconds of alpha trumps that. If you're not her top prospect, guys, there is no reason to be with her. That's what this says here. Look at the top, look at the top comment. 1.4K upvotes. Leave it. In order to maintain a relationship with the group, which is what it seems like you want, you're going to have to respond though. You're hurt, she's acknowledged she messed up, so just be civil. Nothing good will come out of getting into an argument. On a total side note, you're only 20. Based on your posts and comments, you've got a very good head on your shoulders, so don't beat yourself up. This one didn't work out, but I think you're going to be just fine. 2.9k upvotes. Here's what you should say, and I actually agree with this. Hey, it's not for me. Good luck. That's it. 623. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to say as a mid-30s guy who's been through some crazy relationships, but this is pretty simple. She's right. She's a loser. OP, you're young as hell, and this hurts like hell, I'm sure, but there isn't anything left to do. She'll just do more stuff like this in the future. Absolutely true. 100 upvotes. 100% this. You have to know and understand that her actions make it abundantly clear she does not value you. I've dated a really street attractive girl like that, and you start to realize that they pathologically make bad decisions and then routinely apologize to talk their way out of it. Yeah, agreed entirely. Don't deal with this. Don't accept poor treatment. If they're gonna kiss another guy in front of you after you worked, so hard, she's not attracted to you. She's not interested in you. You're the beta Billy, so leave. Okay guys, we're going to end the video there. Again, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit that sub, hit all for notifications. Go to my Patreon and support me, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Again, it's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, or Tom M. Link is in the description below. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to my content, especially if you listen to the end. You guys are wonderful. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.